The Paris Olympic Organizing Committee has budgeted $4.7 billion.
At one point, the seafront rowing venue was going to cost $1.1 billion.
United has scored plenty of goals for.
The Olympic dream changed forever in 1972 after Hezbollah's fatal terrorist assault on Israeli athletes at the Munich Games tarnished the image of the Olympics and increased the need for security. Historically, it has been perceived that the Olympics were big business. Countries and cities would pour billions of dollars into a campaign to win hosting rights. Tokyo spent $150 million on its unsuccessful bid in 2016 and another $70 million for its successful bid in 2021. After the success of the LA Olympics in 1984, where the Games made a profit of $115 billion, cities around the world rushed to be awarded the Olympic Games. The truth is, LA was, and still is, the only city to make a profit from the Olympics. With Brisbane the only city to bid for the 2032 Games, serious questions are being asked about the long-term viability of the Olympic Games. So, if the cities are local, governments are not making money from an Olympic Games. Who is? Welcome to Athlete IQ. In this video, we will uncover the economic stakeholders in the Olympic Games and reveal the top 10 earners and see if we can unlock a future economic model that can make the Games a feasible event. How did we calculate this? We gathered data and performed our analysis across the last 3 Olympic Games: London 2012, Rio 2016, and Tokyo 2021. The totals for these 3 games is how we ranked the stakeholders' total revenue from the Games. Also note that these figures are for revenue, not profit. Not all data was readily available, so in some cases we had to dig a little deeper and perform some approximations. So, starting with the lowest revenue generated, at number 10 we have the athletes, $142 million. Many of us believe that the Olympics is an amateur event and that the athletes do not perform as professionals. However, each National Olympic Committee will typically offer a medal bonus for gold, silver, and bronze results. Whilst this varies dramatically between countries, there have been 947 events in the last 3 Olympics, and gold, silver, and bronze medals awarded for these events. For example, the United States Olympic Committee has historically paid $3,750 for gold, whereas the Singapore Committee pays its athletes $750,000 for a gold medal. If we average these payments out across all countries, we arrive at around $142 million paid out to athletes for medal bonuses. 9. Ticketing agencies, $526 million. Agencies responsible for the sale and distribution of event tickets generate substantial revenue. They manage the pricing, sales, and logistics of ticket distribution to spectators. The revenue generated by ticket agencies from the Olympic Games is significant, driven by the high demand for tickets to various events. As an example, approximately 8.2 million tickets were sold for the London 2012 Olympics, totaling around $1.5 billion in total sales revenue. Ticket agencies typically receive a percentage of these sales as service fees, often ranging from 10 to 15% of the total revenue. As a result of COVID, Tokyo 2021 ticket sales were substantially reduced, achieving around 5% of the forecast revenue leading up to the COVID pandemic. 8. Sponsors and partners. $1 billion. Global and local sponsors invest heavily in the Olympics for marketing and brand exposure. The IOC's TOP, the Olympic Partner Program, includes major corporations like Coca-Cola, Samsung, and Visa, which contribute significant funds in exchange for exclusive marketing rights. Each of these partners have paid the IOC around $3.3 billion over the last 3 Olympics for the opportunity to associate their brands directly with the Olympic Games. While exact revenue figures for each top partner are not publicly available, the sponsorship investments made by these companies, often in the hundreds of millions of dollars, indicate the substantial returns they expect from these partnerships. The combined revenue impact from increased sales, brand visibility, and consumer engagement is significant, often justifying the large sponsorship fees paid to the IOC. 7. International Sports Federations, IFs, $1.6 billion. Each sport in the Olympics is governed by an IF, e.g. FIFA for soccer, FINA for swimming. These organizations receive a portion of the revenue from the IOC and are responsible for the rules and promotion of their respective sports globally. The IOC distributes funds to support these organizations who are responsible for the growth and development of the individual sports that make up the Olympics. 6. Merchandise retailers. $2.2 billion official Olympic merchandise, including apparel, accessories, and memorabilia, is sold through various retail channels. These sales contribute to the overall revenue generated by the Games. The sale of official Olympic merchandise remains a crucial revenue stream for the Games and contributes to the overall financial success of the event. In London, this figure was especially high at around $1.6 billion, given the socio-economics and the absence of any major distraction like the COVID-19 pandemic. Tokyo 2021 had very high hopes for merchandise sales, but these did not eventuate after spectators were prohibited from attending the Games. 5. National Olympic Committees, NOCs. $3.2 billion NOCs, like the United States Olympic Committee, USOC, or the British Olympic Association, BOA, are responsible for organising their country's participation in the Games. They secure national sponsorships and manage the distribution of funds received from the IOC. This funding supports the preparation and participation of athletes in the Olympic Games, as well as various development programs and contributions to long-term sports development initiatives. 4. Hospitality and tourism industry. $4.7 billion. During the London and Rio Olympics, approximately 100,000 foreign travellers visited the country. Hotels, restaurants, travel agencies, and tourism boards benefited directly from this influx of visitors. The sector generated significant revenue through accommodation, food and beverage sales, and tourism-related activities. This revenue can vary significantly based on external factors such as economic conditions and, as seen in Tokyo 2021, global health crises. However, this is one of the biggest direct benefits to the host city and region. The long-term benefits include increased global visibility and continued tourism growth in the host city. 3. Media broadcasters. $6 billion. No one will be surprised at number 3 on the list. The media broadcasters. Whilst it is challenging to determine the specific revenues generated from advertising and digital services for all of the recent Olympics, America's NBC and Britain's BBC have published numbers in the past regarding the advertising revenue generated during an Olympic Games broadcast. These broadcasting companies, such as NBC, USA, BBC, UK, and NHK, Japan, pay significant amounts for the rights to broadcast the Games. For London alone, the broadcasters collectively paid around $3.9 billion for the broadcasting rights. Interestingly, the Tokyo 2021 Olympics generated even higher broadcasting rights fees, given the global interest and lack of live spectators. These rights generated around $4.5 billion for the Tokyo Games. 2. International Olympic Committee, IOC. $18.4 billion. No surprises here that the IOC is the penultimate beneficiary of the revenues generated by the Olympic Games. And rightly so, given the need for them to continue to operate the Olympic movement and administer future Games. The IOC is the supreme authority of the Olympic movement. It manages the overall organisation of the Games, secures global sponsorships, sells broadcasting rights, and distributes funds to various national Olympic committees, NOCs, and international federations, IFs. Fortunately, with the increased broadcasting rights from Tokyo and the related increase in revenue from the TOPI program, the IOC grossed more than $7.6 billion from the 2021 Games alone. 1. Suppliers and contractors, $23 billion. The stakeholder group that sees more revenue from an Olympic Games is by far and away the suppliers and contractors. Ultimately, this is why cities, regions, and nations still fight to host the Games. the direct and indirect revenue generated for the construction sector. Technology, telecommunications, and temporary construction is massive. Companies that provide goods and services necessary for the games, such as construction firms, security services, technology providers, and event management companies, play a significant role. They often secure lucrative contracts tied to the games. Each Games has contributed around $8 billion to the local suppliers and contractors. Whilst some of these are also multinational firms, much of the revenue remains in-country, through local employment and licensing of venues, etc. This revenue not only benefits the immediate host cities, but also contributes to the global economy through international suppliers and contractors involved in the projects. In summary, does this appear fair to you? Were you surprised at how much revenue was generated by the games and who this revenue went to? The economic feasibility of the games in the future is a delicate and complicated subject. With the stress on the hosting countries and increasing costs, there are several suggestions to make the games more affordable and guarantee they continue into the future. These ideas include simplifying the bidding process, allowing hosts to use existing sports facilities, encourage bidders to develop a sustainability strategy, increasing outside auditing and other transparency measures, award the games to rich countries that are better able to absorb more of the costs, and award the games to one city be made the permanent host, allowing for the reuse of expensive infrastructure. What do you think? Thanks for watching Athete IQ.